long journey. I started out in recruiting in the year 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a staffing company. And I didn't even know what recruiting was when they reached out to me. I just happened to put my resume on monster.com and it took off from there. I live here in the DC metro area, so obviously defense contracting, intel contracting is a huge business. And about 10 months into my first recruiting job, my first introduction to recruiting in general, we got asked to come on board as the in-house recruiters for one of our clients, and it just took off from there.
Wow.
I have been fortunate to work at some of the larger defense and intel companies, which also gave me an opportunity to try different things within TA. I started to learn more about human resources. I got my master's degree in human resources management. I worked on projects. I started to like systems and I moved into operations. And then fast forward in 2016, I got laid off for what I
Oh,
said was going to be the last time. And I didn't want to deal with that kind of thing. And instead of taking a break and saying, well, what are you going to do? I had a lot of people in my corner that were reaching out to me and said, here's the kind of work you do. You should do that for yourself. Here, come and help me do this. Come and help me do that.
yeah.
And I just built Trap Recruiter around that.
That is amazing. I love how you like leveled up each time until you finally got to like where you
Yeah.
wanted to be. How has it been having your own business and being able to run it? Do you have many employees with you
I
or
have
what's
no employees. I am a sole proprietorship.
wow.
I did not even intend to have my own company. I thought I was going to go back to work, honestly, in some capacity.
Yeah.
Even calling myself a consultant felt odd and felt weird just because of, I'm from the 1900s. So when
Why
I
you
was
say it like that?
because when I was coming up, parents my parents are boomers and they would say things like, a consultant means you're unemployed. And I didn't want that, kind of have that stigma
Yeah.
around me, but nah, I got over that
Yeah, no.
pretty quickly. I I have ups and downs, obviously. I
Like
enjoy it.
everything.
I enjoy it most of the time when it comes to like I don't have to answer to anyone else
Yeah.
if I don't want to, or giving myself space and time when I'm not feeling, like engaging with someone. I can
Yes.
just take a break. I have that flexibility. So that's the great part about it. But it does get lonely sometimes,
Oh.
especially, I've been working remotely since
Oh wow.
2016, 17,
Oh, before the
100%
pandemic.
before the pandemic.
Okay.
And then when everyone came back came back into the house, that was a little bit weird for me, but it changed my daily routine as well because I could no longer go out of the house for a while when I
Mhm.
wanted to be around other people, when I wanted to have that human connection, which is extremely important in my line of business. So that kind of took some getting used to of 100% doing calls via Zoom or via Skype or Microsoft Teams or whatever, Google
Yeah.
G Chat, whatever. That was a little bit difficult to do, but since then, I don't have many complaints about being a business owner.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound like it. Did you have a mentor or coach that helped guide you, or how did you?
Many.
Okay, talk to me about that. And do you think other entrepreneurs should pursue a coach or a mentor?
Absolutely. Again, this is not something that well, for me, I didn't wake up and say, I want to be an entrepreneur. And as much as I push against it, I do think that that is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So I've had folks who have successfully had their own businesses. I have folks who talk to me, who coach me, who mentor me, who guide me, who work full-time jobs and also have their own businesses. So I get to see both sides
Hmm.
of it, and folks that have been doing this for many years. Even the person who recommended me to your podcast, Jermaine Williamson, he's someone that I've known in talent acquisition spaces for quite some time, well over a decade.
Oh, wow.
And he has always been that person that can start a business and when he feels like it, he may go back to work, but I feel like he's 100% entrepreneur right
Yes.
now as
Yep.
well. And just watching him and other people that have been very successful has kept me encouraged and has kept me motivated.
I love that. I love that you have like a little community of people that you can like look up
Absolutely.
to and also ask for a helping hand when needed, right?
Absolutely.
And now for your business, how are you helping employees and potential um how do you say this, companies who are looking to hire them? Like, is there a loss of communication somewhere between the two of them when they're trying to get together and work?
It
And
depends on the capacity which way I'm helping. So I do career coaching as well, which is from the job seeker perspective.
mhm.
So I help job seekers identify who their next employer is going to be.
Okay.
And then if it's on the actual recruiting side, so client facing recruiting side, a company will come to me and say, I need to fill these roles. And it's normally small to mid-sized companies who either don't have an internal recruiting department because they either don't do much hiring or they're just a small company,
Yeah.
or some that are looking for, say, a someone in their C-suite or a special project. They may have a surge in work and they'll call on me to augment that. I also do true talent acquisition consulting in terms of helping organizations pick their applicant tracking system, helping them get their processes back in line and in order, doing hiring manager training, doing recruiter training. Just I do a great deal of work on that side too. That's the kind of stuff I love doing.
Yeah. And when it comes to being on the side of the person who is looking for a job,
Hmm.
what are some steps or tips that you could give to our listeners who maybe are
Yeah.
wondering what they could be doing better? They can reach out to you for some guidance and help as well.
They absolutely can reach out to me. I just completed a series on that was presented by my podcast Trap Chat, and it was called AI Tools for Job Seekers. So when I can't be as hands-on with everybody because I just don't have the bandwidth to do that, we provided them with some tools that can help them do some of the things that I guide them through with more of a high touch. They can use the high tech to get them there as well. So helping them with their resume, job matching, job searching, interview skills, even negotiating an offer, things like that.
Wow.
So I definitely spend a lot of time helping job seekers first and foremost get their confidence back, because that seems to be where most people find their first roadblock in their
Mm,
job search. Depending on how they got into that position, many folks I work with are actually mid-career and higher, or they're very entry level. So they either don't know where to start, or they've been working for an amount of time and now they feel defeated because they may have gotten laid off, or
mm,
because they don't really know how to get unstuck and move into their next role, or move into, or even make a career shift.
yeah.
So reminding people how to believe in their believe in themselves, how to get their confidence back, how to trust themselves,
Yeah.
and then again, I'm going to lean on the trap. Start to build relationships, hold yourself accountable. A lot of times
Absolutely.
we blame everything else. We blame things on
Except yourself.
everyone else. Yes, you didn't follow up with that company. You didn't go a step beyond searching on whichever job site you want and just sending your resume. Like, you didn't do any research, you didn't do all the
Yes.
other stuff. And then again, being proactive, like really setting that plan, but also realizing that job searching is a job in and of
Yeah. No, my
itself.
gosh.
So when you are, tired, when you feel burnt out, when you've been looking for a role for however long, or if you just need a break because you applied to 10 jobs yesterday, that's okay, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. No, thanks for sharing that. I do have a question about certain people like who are in the job market right now and they
Mm.
haven't had the most current work history there. They've been out of work for a
Mhm.
while. What kind of advice would you give to people like that? I know it starts with helping their confidence, but is there like a light at the end of the tunnel for them? Will they get that call? Will they get that interview because of their history? And
Yes, there used to be a lot more stigma for breaks, and we wouldn't identify them, but I even saw someone today and I was impressed by it 100%, that they actually put their mental health and wellness break on their resume. And I felt that was extremely courageous.
Wow.
Just again, that transparency that goes an extremely long way. And when you're not employed by someone else, you're the likelihood that you're not doing something that has a transferable skill in your own time is very slim. I haven't seen that happening. So people will be spending time building their skill set, acquiring more skills, acquiring certifications, reading and learning about this next either profession or this next company or this next role that they want to be in.
Yeah.
People volunteer. People have other skill sets that they don't apply to their job that they don't even realize. Like, for example, I always use myself when I'm giving people examples because I don't want them to think I'm just saying things to
Yeah.
say them. So I wasn't the best at Canva, or I shouldn't be name dropping all these companies, but I should. So there is like I wasn't that good with making graphics, like
Yes.
I'd actually hired someone else to do it. And then the more I started doing it for myself, and I had what I call an in-between job where I was helping a friend's church just do their programs every week.
Yeah.
And then it became, okay, I need you to make the announcements, meaning what they're going to see visually on the screen.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I built my muscle and understood the more that I designed these things, and that gave me encouragement to do a series that I called, Monday Motivation. So I went from just, grabbing a picture and putting it in the meme generator to actually creating things for myself. Now, no, I'm not a graphic designer, but because there's enough templates and there's enough help,
Resources
you know,
out there. Yeah.
with other things, but there's things that you can learn. I also know someone who was a recruiter for many years and again lost their position, and then they were just volunteering at a workforce development center within a local community college and ended up with a job.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that folks are doing. The work you're doing, at your community org, or helping your children's sports teams, you
Yes.
might be creating those graphics. You might be the one that's making those calls. That some of that's project management, even
Yeah.
organizing a family reunion. Like all of those
Oh,
things,
yes. Oh my
that
goodness.
takes extreme amount of skills and budgeting and like all of those things are transferable skills to your next job.
I love that. And I love that outlook because you think like you're doing all these things. You're like, no, that's not even worthy of putting up. But it is. These
It
things
is.
are skills. And volunteering helps. Like if you really are out of it and you really want a job bad enough, then you should definitely find a place, even if it's not a job, like volunteer to get your name out there, put your foot forward and go in there and be kind of like a go-getter. You can't
Mhm.
sit and wait for someone to be like, hey, do you want a job? You kind of have to like go out there and
Yep.
do the work, as you said. um what have been some of the challenges for you with the job market? I know people are just like, oh, right now it's hard to find jobs, nobody's getting hired. How does that affect you and what changes have you seen?
It's a little bit more unpredictable than it was in past slowdowns. So when we're used to a cycle, so what we like right now, September, and we call this the September surge. But instead of seeing more people opening up roles, I'm seeing more layoffs depending on
Oh,
the
wow.
industry. So a lot of tech jobs are still laying folks off because what they say they overhired
Mhm.
during the pandemic. So there's things like that that I'm not that I'm like, okay, wow. There's a lot of pushback from hiring teams of using things like ChatGPT,
Mm,
using automatic application, tools so that the job seeker can kind of sit back and do those things. But, I caution to like not reject those people because the thing is, we, meaning in-house recruiters, third-party recruiters, we use AI tools as well
yeah.
to help us be more efficient and to help us, have a broader reach. And then I am seeing a trend of what I'll call fake jobs, for lack of a better term.
What's
So
that?
there's a lot of predatory things going on. I've actually, been taking the time to like screenshot when I even get the text messages. They seem to be like the same kind of boilerplate template of saying, hi, send me your information. Here's a job. Are you interested? And it's like, it's either nothing I'm interested in or whatever. But, these fake jobs are things that they might ask you for money
Oh, I was
to
gonna
like
say,
buy
why
your
do they?
to buy your to buy your own equipment, or they'll say give me your social security number and all of these things. Here's a job, or
What?
there's no pay, or the company name doesn't match the email address. So there's a lot of like weird stuff
What on earth? These
going on right
people are
now.
like looking for jobs, and now we gotta deal with like
But
scamming.
it's I'm not using saying this in like a bad way
Yeah,
or disparaging way, but desperation makes you do certain things and make
it's true.
yes. And if you get this random text message saying hi, and it's your name, they have your telephone number, and they're texting you with this thing and say this job pays this much an hour, here's the things you need to do, like you're like, oh wow,
Yeah, like
amazing.
sweet. I've been waiting for
Yes.
this opportunity. Oh, that's so messed up. I'm glad that you mentioned this on the podcast because maybe somebody's listening and they weren't aware, like I was not. Give some visibility to that because you don't want to get scammed out there.
You don't. I also have another friend who he has a show called The Voice of Job Seekers, and he has a whole newsletter dedicated right now to fake jobs. Like that's how bad it is.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Mhm.
Where there's a will, there's a way, apparently.
Yes.
When you're not doing all of this stuff, what do you like to do to unwind? Because mental health is important. I like to touch on that with entrepreneurs because I know it
Yeah.
can seem like they're always like on the go, but I'd like to know what they do in order to relax themselves so they can be at their best at their jobs. Talk to me about that.
I I like to do things that people think are nerdy, like jigsaw puzzles.
That's cute. It's
I
good for
love
the brain.
puzzles. I love puzzles. I love puzzle games. I do like to read, also color, and then I just hang out with my friends. I guess that's
No, I
it.
love that. No, that's good. It's always so good to take time for yourself and re-energize, reset. So again, you can be at your best with your clients. Do you set any boundaries for yourself? Like,
Absolutely,
good. Talk to me about that and why it's important.
it is important, and I have to slap myself sometimes because I overstep my own boundaries. I have made it. I start in the summer times. Like I will not work on a Friday, or I will not work past 12 o'clock on a Friday.
Hmm.
But I have again overstepped that boundary where I'll respond to the call, or I'll make things, but I try to leave my weekend for myself. I try to as best I
Yes.
can.
Yes.
That's important. And then I have more recently been scheduling time dedicated to Kirsten taking care of the administrative things
Oh,
that she needs to do. So I block that time on my calendar so that no one can come and schedule something, just go on my Calendly and schedule a meeting with me during that time. I make sure that I dedicate those that time frame every single day to me getting stuff done and then handling meetings and all of those things at the other times.
good. I love that. Love that for you. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Like, I know you say you're like my calendar, making sure that. Have you considered any help with somebody like scheduling
I
stuff,
do need help.
expanding that? Talk to me about that.
I do need help. I would love to expand Trap Chat. I love doing it so much. I love podcasts. I love being on podcasts. That's why I'm here.
Yay! Thank you
I
so much.
love
We appreciate
I
it.
love interviewing people. I love learning more about people, getting, asking talking to them, asking them questions. Like I'm smiling right now. So I'm getting so energized just thinking
Oh my
about
gosh!
like
Yay!
all the things I get to, that's so amazing to hear people, talk about their success stories. And I try to amplify the voices of folks who aren't necessarily, well known, or they're not the most sought after, but they have a great story.
Yes,
And I love that we can define success for ourselves.
that's right.
And hey, you found that last puzzle piece, like that's amazing, that's awesome. And finding a way to do that. So the next 5 years I would love for Trap Chat to be like a real thing, like maybe a global televised show. Who knows?
Ooh.
I just maybe I'll manifest that.
Yeah.
Uh, I really don't think that far ahead.
No, I know. I'm like that too, but I always just like to ask, maybe that you've got
because
like a little.
because in 5 years I'll be in my 50s, and I can't imagine
Well, you
like.
look great. You don't even look
Thank
like you're
you,
close to being anywhere near your
thank
50s. So
you,
whatever you're
thank you,
doing, keep it going.
thank you. Okay, well I will continue to drink water. I will continue to mind my business,
There you go.
and in 5 years I will still look 5 years younger than I am. There you go.
Heck yeah, love that for you. You're looking good. All
Thank you.
right. So, what have been some of the challenges for you, not your clients, but for you when you're
Mm.
running a business and when you're doing it all on your own? Like, I'd like to know, and if you could share some of those tidbits with us.
When I don't know how to do something, I kind of just sit there until I figure it out, or I figure out who I can reach out to help me do that, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
That's been my biggest challenge is not knowing what I don't know.
Mhm.
And wow, um, that's why I need help. Yeah.
Yeah. See? So if anybody's out there and looking to help, please, please, please reach out. We would love that. um Sorry, I'm like drawing a blank right here. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you about your
Yes.
events because you have public speaking events.
Mhm.
Talk to me about those and like who can contract you to come talk.
Anyone can contact me to talk. The topics I talk about, obviously, for job seekers will be career related. So I do have series of content that I tailor to the audience. So I have folks that do come and ask me about the job search. I have a presentation called Fear Factors. I have a That's about getting over your fear. So getting over that first step so that you can attack the job search with, again, some confidence and some boldness and an assurance that the end goal is going to be met, which is securing your next position.
Yeah.
There's another one called Major Keys. So obviously, I try to keep them aligned to like songs with
No, I love that.
things
Sing
like
me
that.
one.
So it's like your relationship, and that's like major keys to relationship building. I was fortunate to I gave that talk at the FBI.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah, like
intimidating.
yeah, but one of the things that I got over very easily. I do want to share this with your audience because, like I said, I like to be
Please.
authentic. Uh, a lot of people didn't want this company to be called Trap Recruiter. They did
Why?
not, because they saw the word trap and they thought trap music,
Trap
and
music?
they thought rap, and they're like, oh, you're going to cut yourself off from a significant portion of you know potential customers. But what I found is that even people who don't know me, like, my reputation speaks for itself. Just even having been working in corporate world for how many years I did,
Mhm.
long time, and there's people that reach out to me because they just want to know, what is trap recruiter, like, they're excited about that. They want to know what that is.
Yeah.
There are people who are, like I said, they know who I am, and they got over it. So I had to get over that, and again, be and present my authentic self and not worry about it. And at the end of the day, the people that I'm for them. Those people that have a
Yes.
problem with it,
Yeah.
I'm not for them anyway. So getting over that, like, you're not for everybody.
Yeah, no, thank you for touching on that. Why do you think authenticity is so important to you? Because that's like a little thread that I've seen throughout this conversation that authenticity is important to you.
It's extremely important to me because I don't like, you can't be something that you're not. That shows, that comes through. Me putting my guard down, letting go of the misgivings that I have been the best thing I could have ever done. There's been times I've spoken somewhere and I scrapped the whole thing because someone asked me a question, and that's what they really wanted. Like, I came in with, and maybe the organizer or the person that invited me said, thought this is what the people want to hear, but actually they wanted something very different.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been times that I've just 100% just had a conversation, just let folks ask me questions, and given them the tidbits and the insights that they actually want and that they ask for, the things that are most important to them.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think you should write a book. I feel like you'd be good at that. You're like, girl, I'm already busy. Please don't add on to my pile.
I would love to, but I wouldn't know even what to do, which is again me being a hypocrite, because that's one of the questions I ask on my podcast
Really?
is, if you were to write a book about your career so far, what would the title be? And then I always challenge people. I'm like, okay, so we can look for that on this date, and I check up on them, and I've got, like, they have some great titles. So I'm like, yeah. So when someone asks me that back, I'm like, good luck. So I feel like Confessions of a Trap Recruiter is coming.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
It used to
Okay.
be my blog, but I don't write on my blog anymore.
Why'd you stop? You just
I
felt
write
like
for other people.
So
and it got to be too much. And again, I'm not the best at like managing my website and going on
it's
WordPress and
okay.
all that. So
See, and I like your honesty. You're not lying, pretending to be something. So
no,
sticking to the brand. I want to talk about marketing. Are you an avid social media user? Are you out there doing some dances but keeping it
no,
educational? No.
I
Right
don't.
off the
You know, I have a TikTok because I wanted to reserve my name. But I don't go on TikTok. And
Okay.
all the TikTok videos I see are on a different platform.
Oh, like Instagram, like showing the repost or something like that.
I see all the TikToks. I just don't know them. Uh, I don't post as much because I feel like I got social media burnout. And again, I've been doing this for 7 years consistently. And I used to have even before I started my business, I used to have a weekly meme series called Recruiter Problems. And I would just post, something that was funny going on with us. And I realized I have so much content that I I need to like start recycling and reusing some
Or
of that.
schedule it out automatically so that way you don't have to think about it.
If I knew how to do
Oh my
that,
god,
I
it's
would.
okay.
No, actually Canva lets you do that now. So
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
gonna look into it, how to do that. But yeah, I try to post, I try to keep up with my posts, but not as much and not as much as I should. I
That's okay.
love when I do something like this because someone else does the marketing and then I can share it.
Smart girl. Very, very smart girl.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything that maybe I have missed or not touched on that you would like to share with our listeners? It could be in regards about yourself, something about your
Uh,
business that maybe we did not touch on, anything.
no, I think we covered a lot of good stuff.
You
Yeah.
sure? Yeah, I want to make sure,
Yeah.
I have your time here. I want to make sure I get all the highlights and all the good
I
stuff.
can't think of anything else. I'm hard. This is gonna sound horrible, but
No,
again,
say it, girl.
like I'm a recruiter by trade. People think that's a salesperson, but I'm not one of those people that like goes out and sells myself. And I'm not saying that in that way, but
Yeah,
like
no, no.
I'm not out there like, hi, talk to me.
Yeah.
People come to me. I'm fortunate that people come to me and ask me, and people refer me. So
Yeah.
shout out to all of the people that keep me in front of people's faces because
Busy. Yeah.
I am not a
It's
self advocate that way.
Stop it. No, but you're great. I love it. You've got
Thank
like
you.
a cool outfit going on here. We've got the leopard print. You've got your
Thank you.
glasses, and then your name is like different. Like I like how you keep things fun. It's not you could have just came in here with just like a regular colored suit or anything, but just you can tell like the authenticity. You kind of got like this little swag about you. I can't explain it, but like
I
I love
appreciate
it, and
that.
that
Thank you
that
so much.
shows through. And the fact that you like authenticity, I can agree with that too. Because sometimes I guess like maybe my style is not the same as some interviewers, or I don't know. I like to keep things more not real, but more like where it's comfortable and I feel like myself, and I'm not just like, hi, so welcome to like I
No,
can't do
you're
that.
right. I like it when it's very conversational like
Right?
this was.
Exactly. All right. Well, since we've touched a lot of things, I'm going to ask you my one last question.
Okay.
It's going to be if you could share a mantra or a saying that is meaningful to you or has inspired you in any way with our
Mm,
listeners so they can take that as well and maybe find some inspiration through that.
wow.
Take your time. Just putting you on the spot.
There's so many things people say to me, and there's so many people that have inspired me. So I don't know where this came from, but it is something that I've been saying to myself a lot, and that's just to do it scared.
Do it scared.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Tell me a little bit
Do it
about.
scared. So, like, you have fear, you have the anxiety, you have that, trepidation about what will happen. And a lot of times we procrastinate and we put off taking that step and
I feel
doing that
called out here right
thing.
now. Yeah.
So, do it scared.
Do it scared. Okay. Use that as like the light to light the fire under your booty.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it. I
Thank
appreciate
you
your
for
time.
having
And
me.
where can people find your podcast? Is this on YouTube,
Yes.
Spotify,
It's
all?
on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram most of the time. The live works. It's also on my Facebook page.
It's the same name.
It's
Everything.
at Trap Recruiter. You can find me everywhere at Trap
Okay,
Recruiter.
that's why you were saying like I saved the name on TikTok. Like you like
Hmm.
made sure you got all of them. Smart
Yes.
girl. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.